So, when we're looking at this is going to review our understanding of number lines. So, number lines represent the value of a number. That's important to know. That's important to mark. Number lines represent the value of a number, whether it's greater than or less than something. So, if it's going in the right direction, it's going to be increasing in value, meaning it's approaching positive infinity. This is something that most kids don't understand because it's not told enough. When it's going to the right, it's approaching positive infinity. If you're going to the left, you are decreasing in value. It's approaching negative infinity. This is going to help you a lot when we start doing domain and range, functions, everything in between. This is the number one thing I wish I would have taught more specifically the last 5 years. Because I feel like without this buffer lesson, y'all struggle a whole lot more when it comes to me asking you, how does this number relate to this number? This is going to show you how they relate and how their operations work. Everybody good? Okay. Inequality symbols are used to compare values. So, we compare values when we see inequality. Meaning you're saying something is what? What's this symbol? Do you know?
Oh, yeah, greater.
What direction is it pointing in? The left or the right?
Right.
Left. Treat it like an arrow. Look right here, baby. Is that pointing in the left or the right direction?
You talking about the arrow or like?
This, baby. Focus on the point right there.
Oh, yeah, left.
So, left means, is it greater than or less than? Less than. L for less than, left, okay? So that's less than. How do I read this one?
Greater.
Are they both pointing in the same? Thank you. They're still pointing in the same direction. So it's still less than, but what did I add on to it? Or equal to. So it's less than or equal to. What about this one? Greater than. And what about this one? Because it's still pointing in the same direction. We starting to jog some memories? We read inequality symbols from left to right, okay? Write that down right here. We read inequalities from left to right. What else do you read from left to right in your everyday life? Books. Because we don't start on the right side of the sentence, we start on the left side of the sentence, okay? So, unless you're reading some type of anime and manga, because they read backwards. But technically, you're still reading the page from left to right. You're starting at the back of the book. Kind of different. If you've never seen that before, go explore your closest Barnes & Noble or library. Pretty interesting stuff. So, everybody good on this top section? Okay. The directions say compare the numbers in each set using an inequality symbol. So we're comparing the negative square root of 25. Let's type this into the calculator. I'll type it in with you. When I'm typing in a negative, am I using the white button or the gray button on my calculator? Am I using the white button or the gray button? The white button. If it's a negative out front, it has to have the white button. So type this in with me. The white button at the bottom, this one right here, I'm pointing to it. That's negative, click it. Hit the square root. Better? Okay. So, how do I get the square root? What's my keystroke? Second x squared. Everybody have this symbol on there? What number is underneath? 25. Thank you, Aaliyah. And then from there, hit enter. So what does that simplify into?
5.
What kind of 5? Negative 5. Make sure your negative's in the front, okay? Is negative 5 greater than, less than, or equal to negative 3? Yes, ma'am. Yes. It's less than. Because here's how you deal with negative numbers. Would you rather have to owe somebody $5 or $3?
3.
3, because it's closer to what number? 0. The farther to the left it is, the more money you owe. So would you rather owe $100 or $1? Because that -1 is closer to what number? 0. Okay? So it's less than. Stop moving that desk. Sit up. I know, honey. I saw it. You're fighting for your life. It's okay. Any questions? Look at this. Can 2/3 be simplified any further? Yes or no? No. Because what other factors can you take out of 2 and 3 evenly? Just 1. And taking anything out of by 1 isn't changing anything. What about 1/2?
Juniors with the last name I through M, please make your way to the multipurpose room for laptop distribution. Juniors with the last name I through.
How do I put 2/3 in the calculator to check it? Someone walk me through. How do I type this in to check to see if it's simplified? Go, Annabelle. 2 divided by 3. Do you see that? And then what keystroke do I hit? Enter. Math 1. Enter. You're absolutely correct. Did it give you the same thing back? You have to first type in the division. Jordan, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you type in 2 divided by 3, then hit math, which is this button, M-A-T-H, the number 1, and then hit enter. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
If it gives you the same thing back, that means that's the fully simplified form. Does that make sense? Try this one for me, Jordan. Type in 6 divided by 4. 6 divided by 4, and then hit enter. You got a big decimal, didn't you?
I got 13.
6 divided by 4. I'm telling you to type this in as a practice.
Oh, like, what? Do you mean to type math?
Yeah, no, type in 6 divided by 4 and then hit enter.
Oh,
And then it gives you a decimal, right?
6.5.
And then hit math 1, enter. What fraction did it give you?
13.
3 over 2. So is 6 over 4 the most simplified version of the fraction I just gave you? No, it's 3 over 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because it didn't stay the same in the calculator. Does that make sense? So now you can check every single one like that, okay? So it's important for us to type this in because look at that decimal. We're going to need that, okay? So type in 0.6 repeating. So just write that down right there. What is 1/2 as a decimal? 0.5. So is this greater than or less than 0.5? Greater than, because is 6 greater than 5? Yep. 2/3 of a pizza is way more than half of the pizza. Does that make sense? Any questions there? Do y'all need to see a depiction of that to see that? Okay, good. I was like, don't ask me to draw a circle right now. I really can't. Looking at C, how do I simplify -27 over 3? Oh my God. Yeah, go on and run it to me. I know exactly who that is. Okay.
What are those pieces?
This means Miss Kendrick. The light blue slips mean Mr. Arnell. Green slips mean Mr. McNeil. So which means if I get one of these and it's a small slip, that means somebody's about to go see a principal. And oddly enough, you just asked me, and this is for you. So go and see Miss Kendrick really quick, okay? I'll see you in a minute. Baby, they hammering down. I can't say nothing. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. -27 divided by 3. Can we type that in the calculator real fast? Don't worry, I'm typing it along with you. What'd y'all get? -9. Perfect. Is -9 less than or greater than -3? Less than. Because would you rather owe $9 or $3? I'd rather owe 3, you know. 15 divided by 7. Type that in your calculator. We need to see that, right? What decimal did you get when you typed in 15 divided by 7? 2.14, and it goes on forever, right? It starts repeating. Is this greater than or less than 2? Greater than, because that decimal puts it over just slightly. Does that make sense? You see how my arrows are pointing? Left for less, right for great. Okay? Left for less, right for great. Everybody good? We read it from left to right. Looking at 16, do we need to type this in again or do we already have it? What does negative square root of 25 change into? Is 16 greater than or less than negative 5? Greater than. That means you have $6. On the other side, you owe $5. Does that make sense? We don't want to owe nothing. Okay? So, looking right here. 3 over 2. I just had him type it in as 6 over 4. Just type in 3 divided by 2 in your calculator, okay? And give me that decimal. Did everybody get 1.5? Is 1 greater than or less than 1.5?
Less than.
Less than, because that 0.5 puts it over. Does that make sense? Next one. Do I need to type this in all over again? Yes or no? Did you just write it over here? What's the only difference between these two? So that's negative what? 1.5. Is negative 10 greater than or less than negative 1.5? Less than. Because would you rather owe $1.50 or owe $10? I'd rather owe $1.50 because it's closer to 0, right? So that's less than. Okay? Last one. Can you type in the square root of 16 for me? Can you type in the square root of 16? Deborah, you know how to type it in? I don't know if you were here that day. Do you know how to type in the square root? You're okay. Hit this blue button right here that says second on your calculator. Hit that blue button. And then hit this button right here that says x squared. You see my thumb next to it? Hit that. Did your symbol pop up on the top of the screen? Like this? Then just type in 16, okay? And then hit enter. What'd you get? You okay? Take your time. Try it again. So blue button, second, x squared, and then type in 16. And then hit enter. What'd you get? Did you type in 16? Should have got you 4 there, baby. Hang on. Let me look. Everybody else, make sure that you type it in. Did everybody else get 4? It's second, x squared, 16. You're okay. That's what I was like. I think you hit the square root again and it brought you down to 2 because that's the square root of 4. You got it? Okay. So, looking at what we're comparing it to, is 4 greater than or less than negative 4? Greater than, because I'd rather have $4 than owe $4. Does that make sense? Everybody good on this review of inequalities? Everybody all right? Okay. Looking up here, addition and subtraction with real numbers. These are integer rules, okay? These were taught, but not explicitly using words. So I'm going to give you words for these, okay? If they have the same sign, meaning that they're both positive or they're both negative, you keep the sign regardless, and you add the numbers. That's how I know negative 11 plus negative 3 is going to be negative 14 without having to use my calculator and without having to count on my hands, okay? So, integer rules are important, just like the way you say 1 plus 4 is 5. They're both positive, so we keep the positive sign and we add the numbers. If they are different signs, I'm going to put little asterisks next to mine so I know that these are two separate thoughts. If it's different signs, keep the sign of the larger number and subtract the numbers. So if you had negative 10 plus 7, the negative 10 is the larger of the two because 10 is bigger than 7. So you're going to say negative and then 10 minus 7 is 3. So the answer should be negative 3. It's too close to the bell. It's 10 minutes till. Can you wait till break? Girl, I have to do that math really fast. Thank you. So, any questions there? Everybody good? Look at letter A. I'm dealing with negative 3 plus negative 3. Do these have the same sign? Yes, because they're both what? So, what should my answer be? Do I keep the sign or do I change it? So, the answer should be what? Negative. And then what's 3 plus 3? That's how you do it without a calculator. Any questions there? Look at letter B. Do they have the same sign or different signs? Because they're both what? Negative. So what should my final answer be? Negative. And then what's 4 plus 5? Looking at the next one. Are they the same sign or different signs? They're different because 2 is positive in this case because you're subtracting them, right? So, what's larger, 9 or 2? 9 or 2. You're taking the absolute value. 9. So, will my answer be negative or positive? Negative, right? And so, in this case, you're still subtracting because that 2 is positive. They just took it away. So, it should be negative 11. Okay? Don't let how they switch it up throw you off, okay? So, treat ones that look like this just like these. Okay? These are the same. I'm going to color code it so I know that which ones are the same and which ones are different. A, B, C, and D are treated the same. So if I'm looking at D, these are both negative right now. So should my answer be positive or negative? Negative. And what's 8 plus 6? 14. And these down here should be treated the same. So, looking at letter E, are the signs the same or different? Different. So, what's larger, 6 or 3? So, should my answer be positive or negative? Positive. What's 3 minus 6? Well, 6 minus 3, sorry. So, my answer should be? Look at that. Y'all doing all this without no calculator. You should be proud of yourself. That's a pat on the back right there. Look at F. Are these the same or different? Different, because the 8 is positive while the 9 is what? Negative right now. So what's larger, 8 or 9? So should my answer be negative or positive? Negative. What's 9 minus 8? That's the answer. Look at you go. Y'all are tearing it up, okay? I'm going to help you out on these. What's the least common denominator between 10 and 4? 20. So I know I'm going to have two things with 20 at the bottom, right? So I'm going to have 20 there and I'm going to have 20 there. What multiplies to 10 to get 20? 2. So what's 9 times 2? 18, right? Can you close the door all the way for me, baby? Thank you. What multiplies to 4 to get 20? 4 and 5. So what's 3 times 5? 15. Should my denominator change? No, stays the same. But look at the top, okay? Is negative 18 and 15 the same sign or different signs? Different signs. So is 18 or 15 bigger? 18. So the answer should be what? Negative. What's 18 minus 15? 3. And that's fully simplified. That's your answer. You see how the stuff from the last 2 days are coming back into this? It's going to help a bunch, okay? What's the least common denominator between 10 and 3? You just said it. 30. So, I got to change it into 30 and 30, right? What multiplies to 10 to get 30? So, what's 3 times 3? 9. So, my first fraction changed into 9 over 30, right? What multiplies to 3 to get 30? So, what's 1 times 10? 10. Perfect. So, the 30 should not change, right? These are different signs, yes? We have a positive 9 and a negative 10. Can we see that? What's greater, 10 or 9? So should the answer be positive or negative? Negative, because the 10 is negative, right? What's 10 minus 9? And there you go. How are we feeling? What are we thinking? We feeling good? Feeling like we're getting it? And Jordan, don't worry, all of this is recorded. So which means you've got to go home and watch that video, okay? No, I'm saying to get better understanding of what you missed while you weren't in here, okay? Always watch it, even if you get pulled out of the room. Because we want to pass the test, right? Okay. So, multiplication or division with real numbers. Same sign, okay? The answer is always what? 2 negatives make a, and 2 positives make a. What? 2 negatives make a, and 2 positives make a positive. So if they have the same signs, they're always positive, okay? Does not matter if they're both negative or if they're both positive. Different signs, the answer is always, what do you think? Because if they're always opposite of each other, a negative times a positive will always get you a negative. So if there's different signs, always negative, okay? So looking at letter A, are they both positive, both negative, or different signs? So my answer should be positive. So what's 2 times 4?
8.
The answer is 8. Looking at B, are they both positive, both negative, or opposite signs? So my answer should be positive. So what's 16 divided by 4? That's a calculator question. So type in 16 divided by 4. 4. Looking at letter C, are they both positive or both negative? Both negative. So my answer should be positive. So what's 6 times 3? And looking at this one, don't you freak out looking at this, okay? That's division that we've done before, right? So should the first thing stay the same? So it's -5. What happens to the division? Multiplication. And what happens to 10 over 25? How can I change -5 into a fraction? By putting a 1 underneath it. So, -5 times 25. Somebody tell me. Put that in the calculator. -125, right? Over, what's 1 times 10? Somebody tell me.
2.
Perfect. Can I type this thing in the calculator and see if it simplifies? Let's do that. Type in -125 divided by 10. Math 1, enter. What was it? -25 over 2. Everybody get that? Perfect. What I want you to do this evening is do this for me, okay? I want you to do number 1, 3, 7, and 8. Can you do those for me before we come in tomorrow? Thank you. I will check those while we're getting you ready for bell work, okay? Any questions? Those without a computer, try to get that ASAP if you can, okay? Those who weren't in here, we'll try to get you into your Schoology and all that. Those who need to know their passwords, I'm going to ask Mr. McNeil how that's supposed to happen when you can't get into the computer to see your email. That kind of defeats the purpose, but we'll figure all that out. Going to get packed up, calculators 1 through 5.